Joe Biden is about to sign what may well end up being the biggest accomplishment of his presidency, an enormous $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. With his other priorities likely to grind to a halt in the Senate, the spending will probably stand as a signature statement of Biden's approach to governance, and it should be a damning one. The legislation is a misnomer. It is neither a COVID nor a relief bill. Only a tiny portion of the spending in the bill goes toward vaccinations and other priories directly related to the pandemic. Much of the rest of the spending is not well suited, or even designed, to respond to current economic conditions, which are increasingly favorable. Democrats are telling themselves that it's like 1933, when we were in the midst of a depression, whereas it's more like 1983, when we were coming out of a punishing recession. Or to put it another way, the Biden bill is reacting to the wrong spring. It is no longer the cataclysmic spring of 2020, with the economy shuttered and nothing to fight the virus except social distancing and masks, but the much more hopeful spring of 2021, with the economy opening back up, COVID cases steeply declining and vaccinations ramping up massively. Jobless claims have decreased, and the unemployment rate is 6.2%. Personal incomes are higher than when the pandemic started. Both the Congressional Budget Office and Goldman Sachs are projecting rapid economic growth in 2021. As states open back up, and not just allegedly, Neanderthal, Texas, but deep blue Connecticut, nearly 20% of the U.S. population has received at least one vaccination shot. This isn't to say that all is well. There is an estimated $420 billion hole in the economy, although, as even center-left critics of the bill have noted, you don't need a $1.9 trillion bill to fill it. Besides the roughly $4 trillion in prior relief bills passed over the past 12 months, not all of which has been spent. The latest bout of spending is spread around willy-nilly on Democratic priorities and constituencies. Take public education, where Democratic allied teacher unions dominate. It's not clear why any additional spending is necessary, given that tens of billions of education funding from prior COVID relief bills are still unspent, even as many districts have already begun to reopen for in-person instruction. Nonetheless, the bill spends roughly another $130 billion on K-12 education. According to a CBO estimate, by the time most of the money is spent we will have long exited the pandemic that supposedly justifies it. The CBO projects more spending for elementary and secondary education will occur in fiscal year 2026 than this fiscal year. And about 3 times as much spending would go out the door in fiscal year 2025 than in fiscal year 2021. This zombie COVID relief spending will continue into fiscal year 2028.